Welcome back. Kevin's Mobile Repair. Got a 2015 Mercedes S550 with the 4.7 turbocharged. We're doing some plugs and coils on this bad boy. I would take note that doing the coils on these, especially the first time, I would get some new ones. These things like to come apart. You don't want to be stranded when you do so, because this was vehicles what, 6 years old at this time, 9 years old at this time, and these haven't been done before, so the plastic was melded on to the plugs and they were rather fun taking off. Let me show you a little tool list real quick. 3-inch extension, 1-inch extension. I have a swivel 16mm 12-point thin wall socket. You'll need the thin wall in order to get these specific kind of plugs out. So that's an OEM Bosch. See how it's got the 12-point connectors on there? You'll need the thin wall. If you get a normal 5/8, which will also fit in here, they don't want to fit inside there real well with the socket. So unless you actually have a 5/8 thin wall socket, you're going to have to get the OEM plugs in order to put the plugs back in. Otherwise they get jammed in there, the socket doesn't come out, and that's just a mess. Found that out the hard way when the customer supplied the wrong spark plugs. So I had to go get OEM, which, there's your part number. Back to tool list. Flathead screwdriver, ratchet, and these two is what I used to get the coils out when they're jammed in there. Basically, coil sits right here. I was able to get back behind it, use the fuel rail, and pull up on it and pops it out. Spraying a little bit of PB Blaster, WD-40, something like that down inside there will help loosen them up so that they will come out. All right, so there's our tips for that part. So I know this is going in reverse order as usual. The ignition coils are held in place with a T8. So I have a T8 on an extension with a swivel so you can get to them. Let me show you on this side what they look like. See, that's what they look like. One here, and they're like that all the way. Connectors go right here. Connectors are round, have a little lock tab on there, so you'll press back on the lock tab in order to disengage it. You can see it inside there. That's the little tab that has to be pressed up. Sometimes these things don't want to release, so I have a pick that will go down inside there and pop it loose. And then same way, use a little screwdriver right here around the edge and push it off, and it'll go that way. And then use the Torx bits, zip these off, make sure they don't fall down there into the abyss. But just take the Torx bits off, set off to the side, and then you can start taking out your coils. Once the coils are out, then the spark plug fun is there. But in order to get to the spark plugs, they have this little rubber isolator, and this side has, you got this. So take off your clamp right here, this just pops out. This one I left the connector on. The other side I actually took it off because it was too short and I couldn't move it out of the way. Same thing, has one of those little quick disconnects right there, little screwdriver down inside, or a pick down inside there, pop it loose and it comes off. That comes out, and then the little plastic housings are pretty much self-explanatory. They just pop in and out. This customer had lost their air duct right here and on that side, so there's another intermediary piece right in between here that goes to the air filter housings. So we'll do a recap from the start. Take off your covers, take off your air filter housings, take off your foam isolator, disconnect your connectors for the coil, take off the coil, remove the plug. Now the plugs, because of how they're in such a nice little tight spot, I had to use this to get into most of them, and then once it's out or going back in, you have to take it off and do it one by one Otherwise, there's no room in here to clear this, unless you have a really fun setup that's some nasty 90-degree right angles, which I'm sure some guys have, but I did not. What I did worked very well. But any questions, comments, please feel free to let me know.